everyone, and thanks again for tuning in to the latest edition of FranCoach's Franchising 101 podcast. I'm Tim Parmeter, founder and CEO of FranCoach and your podcast host. Today, we want to talk about there's some different traits that people really have or need to have as a franchise owner, and things in particular, kind of the more intangibles that franchisors are looking for. And we want to kind of share those with you so you can think, do I have what it takes to be a franchise owner? But first, before we do that, a quick reminder of who we are. FranCoach is a national search firm dedicated to working with individuals interested in owning a franchise. We're partnered with well over 600 of the top franchisors in the country, spanning nearly 70 different industries. Our goal is to help educate people on everything about franchise ownership so they can find the best franchise to own. And the goal of the Franchising 101 podcast is simply properly educate you on everything about franchise ownership in the entire industry. So today, we want to talk about some intangible skills that are going to be really key to become a franchise owner. And so we're always going to kind of go back to some basics, some things we've talked about in the past is, what is the number one thing franchisors are looking for in a potential franchise owner, right? And as you start thinking about all the different potential skill sets you have, I'm a great leader, I'm a great manager, I'm great at sales, I'm great at operations, I'm great at everything. Yeehaw, great. The number one thing is none of those. The number one thing that they are looking for is, can you follow a plan? The whole point of the franchise is it is a proven system, model, training, support. All of those things are in place for you. It is okay if that sounds awful and you're like, no, I'm smarter than everybody. I want to create my own thing. Awesome. That's how you become a franchise at some point. Everybody did that. All franchises did that exact thing. But that's scary. That's daunting. There's a huge failure rate with that. Franchise owners, on the other hand, are the opposite of that. Why? Because again, the franchise has that proven system. So number one thing, will you follow a plan, right? Number two is really, are you going to work? Are you going to sit around and binge watch stuff on Netflix all day? Or are you going to put forth the effort required as an owner? If you're a full-time owner, that's full-time effort. It doesn't have to be 80, 90 hours, it's 40, 50 hours a week. If you're part-time, semi-absentee, that could be anywhere from 8 to 20, depending on the franchise. So are you going to put forth that effort? Really those two things, right? So again, people always kind of wonder, how is that possible, right? Like, my background industry-wise in the corporate world is everything when we are looking at another job. The franchises don't care about your industry background. How's that possible? Owners are rarely the doer as a franchise owner. That's why it is possible. McDonald's owners don't spend all day, every day making French fries. It's not their job. They don't need all these years of making French fries on their resume to become an owner of McDonald's. You could be the biggest slob on the planet and own a cleaning franchise. The cleaning franchise doesn't care that you're a big slob. I mean, we might make fun of you behind your back, but we don't care. It's not your job to clean. It is your job to run the business, right? So the different types of tangible skills, right? Again, I'm great at sales. I'm super at operations. I'm the master leader of all leaders, whatever it might be, whatever your thing or things are skill set wise. It doesn't matter which one, any of them can work. The trick, and let's be honest, kind of why we at FranCoach exist, is what is each franchise looking for, right? And sometimes in the same industry, one might say, we really want somebody really sales focused. The next one is really ops focused, right? We know all those behind the scenes things, so we can do that. But that's really the trick, is finding the match for whatever is best for you as an individual and how that aligns with the franchise. It's not the industry, right? From that standpoint. So as an example, if you are totally averse to anything sales or customer facing, then becoming an owner of a franchise that wants their owners to be heavily involved in sales or be in the face of the business is going to be a bad match. No matter how great all the other owners are doing that system, it's because of the match, right? That's not going to be a good thing with you, right? So always want to kind of keep that in mind and start there. Hey everyone, I wanted to take a quick break from our podcast to tell you about our amazing friends at Entrepreneur. If you're looking to become a franchisee or simply learn more about business ownership, and guys, let's be honest, you're listening to the Franchising 101 podcast, so we know you have some interest in this. And I really encourage you to go to entrepreneur.com to check out all of their great content and resources. Seriously, Entrepreneur has everything, all the way from a bookstore to the best podcasts, webinars, and videos, plus information on upcoming events and the latest articles that seriously, they cover all aspects of franchising and business ownership. If you're having trouble deciding which franchise is right for you, start with Entrepreneur's renowned Franchise 500 ranking, which highlights the best franchises of 2022. For 45 years and counting now, Entrepreneur has been and continues to be the most widely recognized and respected authority in the franchise market. Digital and print subscriptions are available, so you never miss out on anything. So seriously, what are you waiting for? Go to entrepreneur.com right now and learn more. What are some of the other intangible things that go with this? Right? So one that we talk about a lot, I just use the letters FSO. So what's FSO? So sometimes in franchising, you may hear that there are some things called franchise sales organizations. We're not talking about them, right? FSO, this is about you as a franchise owner. So what's it stand for? It stands for figure stuff out, right? So why does FSO, why does the ability to figure stuff out matter? So as a franchise owner, you have a proven system from the franchise and all of their support. All of these things you will consistently lean on. But part of being an owner is wanting the ball, wanting to make the decisions. Let's go back to the number one reason people become a franchise owner. It's control, right? Yes, a ton of this tends to be around lifestyle, freedom, flexibility, all of those type of things. But so is controlling one's professional success. The amount of times I have heard somebody say, try to work my butt off to make somebody else money. Okay. Now, as a franchise owner, you're working your butt off to make yourself money, to build what you want, right? So definitely that is there. But it's not all rainbows and unicorns, folks, as a business owner, franchise or otherwise. So what happens when something happens? Something goes wrong, when the you-know-what hits the fan. Do you want to be the one in control of that decision, right? Do you have the ability to? Do you like to use your ability to FSO, right? Are you that person that's looked at as the problem solver, or are you the person that just points them out, right? That's the easy part. Problem, we don't want the Monday morning quarterback thing here, right? So are you that person? You want that control. Maybe you have that frustration in the corporate world. You're like, man, I know I can fix this stuff. If they just get out of my way and let me do it. That intangible skill is going to be key to success as a franchise owner. Not everybody wants to be the one at the top, and that's okay. Franchise ownership may not be for you, but if you are the person that wants the ball in their hands to take that shot as the clock winds down at the end of the game, then you have that key intangible skill that franchisors are looking for, right? So give you a couple of examples, right, of kind of that FSO piece that's not like in the franchise plan. Maybe you have staff issues, right? So somebody calls in sick and we're supposed to go, we've got that cleaning franchise and two people, for whatever reason, got sick. How are we going to adjust the cleans for that day? Have we built our bench where we've got some backup people to come fill in? Do we need to get on the phone with some of our customers and go, hey, Tim, actually, is it okay if we come tomorrow? Sure, right? But we've got to be able to figure out how we do that. What if, you've got a food franchise and the shipment of like napkins haven't come in? Like, what are we going to do? We're just all going to, use our shirt sleeve, or are we going to figure stuff out to be able to know where we can, or what's our backup plan? What's plan B? What's plan C? My wife and I used to own some fitness studios. They were in Orlando, Florida. And last summer, there was a hurricane that came through. Nowhere in the franchise plan for that franchise was what to do if and when a hurricane comes in. That's not in there. We had to figure out exactly when was the appropriate time to start canceling classes, be able to understand when we could come back. And we had to do some damage assessment on one of the studios when things happen. The franchisor wasn't there saying, okay, well, 38 hours before the hurricane may or may not hit. No, that's stuff we had to figure out as owners. We had to FSO it and be able to get our team in the right place in the right time, or in this case, not like home, right? From that standpoint. So those are things that you think about. The other intangible that kind of goes, I think to me, kind of goes with FSO is it having a history of success. I don't care in what, right? It could be somebody that is, younger in their 20s, and we get this often, right? Well, how'd you do in school? Did you suck? Did your transcripts look like my undergrad, or were they really good, right? What's your corporate background look like? Is it common? Right. So again, as we look through this, it's common for people to fear failure as they're vetting the franchises. It's understandable. You're going to get a pucker moment, no matter how much you're like, man, this really sounds good. So how do you know you're going to succeed, right? This is what we're going to go back to. Do you have a history of success, right? Or have you just been this complete constant failure at every role you've had, right? Then when we go back and you're like, man, I've been really successful at these things. Why? Why were you successful in those roles? Did you, I don't know, work hard? Did you have the ability to FSO? Did you have probably honestly a little bit of a chip on your shoulder to prove people you are the right person, that you were the right person for the job, right? Did the roles you had where you were successful, did it incorporate some of the talents and skill sets that you have, the things that you enjoy doing on a daily basis? If you have been successful in the past, it is going to be because of all of these things. So how does that translate into franchise ownership? Again, are you going to follow the plan? Do you have the effort? Do you have the ability to FSO when it needs to? Do you have a little chip over there on your shoulder going, I'm going to prove to all you jokers that I can do this, that I'm going to be the right person to run this franchise, right? Does the franchise want an owner with your skill set? Do you connect with their people and their culture, right? Again, I'll go back to that sales example. If a franchise wants a very customer-facing owner, right? No matter how hard you're going to work, your FSO, that chip is ginormous. You've been successful at everything you've done, except, oh, by the way, it's never been sales, right? And you hate it and you don't like people. That franchise that needs a forward-facing owner is not going to be the right fit for you. It's not going to go well, right? But if it is, and does that actually get you excited to get out of bed and go run your business every day, right? And you have all of the other intangible skills, tell me how you're going to fail as an owner, right? Spoiler alert, you won't. Oftentimes people ask me if it really is that simple, a success as a franchise owner. Do you really just need to follow the plan and put forth the effort? Well, the answer is yes. It's kind of a qualified answer, right? But then it goes, this is back to the part where it's the fit, right? Is the franchise looking for somebody with your skill set, your attributes, right? Your kind of, you fit into their culture? Do you have the ability and desire to FSO it when it pops up, right? To use your history of success to drive you towards that success for working for yourself as a franchise owner? Yes. The big trick in all of this is, I'm going to bring it right back to kind of what we do, is you understand all of those things, you're yes on all of those things. How do you know which is the best franchise out there for you? Well, might I suggest the great people at FranCoach, FranCoach.net. That is what we are here to do. There's never any fee for our service. We're going to help you figure out what's the best one out there based on everything that you're good at and that you want. Then, frankly, folks, it's up to you. When you become that franchise owner, follow the dang plan. Put forth the effort. Use your intangible skills to FSO it, right? And trust your history of success. When you're in the right position, you have always succeeded, right? Do that again, right? That's how it works. So hopefully that helps with just kind of, again, an understanding of don't be scared, right? Well, be scared, but understand that that part is normal and how we get through this, and that there is not a one size fits all franchise out there for people, right? We're going to help you figure that out. Then, my friends, it is up to you. So that is us. Again, FranCoach.net is our website, franchising101podcast.net. Reach out. There's never any fee for our service. Let us help you create your better tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week.